Alright, so we're going to go through kind of my little mini Balisong or butterfly knife collection here. Before we get to the the main one that I want to kind of give a short review on. And I'm going to start from my left to right here. And this is one of the original Benchmade Balisongs that Benchmade made many years ago. I think I bought this in the 90s, and I think it was like started at 25 bucks, went up to 60. Now I believe this is a collector's, and this is one I used to carry a lot, and thus the sheath here. So we'll talk about that in a minute. There's some modifications to it over time. What happens is the rivets, the teeth expand, and the rivets, they kind of get loose, but it also adds a little bit to the play. So when you're using a hinged blade, like, you know, like a folder. So if I was just to take this, most folders, let's pretend this end doesn't exist. Most folders will open up, and which is really what Balisongs are folders. The weak point is at the hinge, okay, unlike a fixed blade. The other thing is that oftentimes these will come with latches. Okay, you see the little latch there to keep them closed. Okay, but what we found, a lot of my gym mates and I, is that when sometimes these would, you know, this, so the latch is on this handle, which is the handle you really don't want to hold on for too long, because for obvious reasons when you're flipping it. So this is the end here that you would hold on to. But what happens sometimes is the latch would fold over, and the blade would end up hitting the latch, which would chip your blade. So we would just, so, you know, I have some gym mates who are also machinists, and they could take out the latch. So this is kind of a modified one. So it is not like a mint conditioned first generation Benchmade, as you can see the logo there, Benchmade Balisong from like the 80s and 90s. But you know, I have one of the originals, even without the modification, and a good machinist could probably put another latch on there if I really wanted to do so. I like what they call the Weehawk blade. So half of it's serrated, the other half is more of a fillet blade or straight edge. I like that because I like the serration, because sometimes you need to saw as a tool, and then you have your straight edge for just straight slash work and things like that. This sheath here, I went to school in Arizona, and I had a pair of shoes that needed repair, and I found this shop, leather shop, or it was a cobbler shop, and he was able to do some amazing work on my shoes to fix them. I was like, oh my gosh. And these original Balisongs used to come with a almost a denim or like a Kevlar or some kind of dense, I don't know what to call it, fabric sheath, and this is designed off of that sheath. And he completely, I gave him the one that I had, and he completely made a new one, but completely out of leather. And as you can see, the Velcro is starting to kind of wear out. But this is heavy, because the way I would wear this is so that I could take this and I would wear it. As you can see, the belt loop would go this way, and so I could take my fingers, and grip the wings at the end here, and use this as my first strike if I needed it in a self-defense situation. So that's why I like the design of this, and I had to make this. And I do a little bit of leather work now. I suppose I can, you know, make another one. But you know, he uses sewing machines, so that was actually pretty good work, and pretty quick work. So that's the way. That's what's behind this sheath here. So that's kind of the original design. Another Benchmade version that they used to make is the Tanto blade, which I really love. The Tanto, or the Japanese style tip, Japanese sword style tip, I really like, because it's very strong. Okay, versus when you have one that's pointed, Okay, it can be a little weak, easy to break, okay, or snap. The Tonto edge is very strong, and again, Weehawk. So part of it is serrated, the other part is fillet style or straight edge. And again, this is one that I had used for EDC, especially when I was bouncing a lot, doing a lot of bar work. Again, there's no latch on it. In fact, I think I had my buddy kind of shave it off here and get rid of the latch hole. And then he also ground some grooves in here so that I know which end I was holding on to, okay, when I was flipping it. And I love the way this one sings. It's got a nice little sing to it. So this was my EDC, but it's retired now. I don't carry. I carry a Spyderco nowadays. I don't really carry my Balisongs anymore. And you know, these are collectors, even though it's not mint condition or anything like that. So these are retired. This is another version of a Benchmade. Is it Benchmade? I believe this is, yeah, it's Benchmade, of a later design Benchmade knife. I don't really like this as much because it just doesn't have the sing or the play that these two have. But again, it's got the tip there, and as you can see, the latch is still attached. And this is what I mean, but I think they kind of rectified it, so it won't hit. If this laid in there, it would probably hit. And so there's a bar here inside that's stopping it. So I think they kind of figured that out and corrected that at the Benchmade plant. And again, this top here has a kind of a little nipple. Again, the beautiful thing about Balisongs is that they don't have to be made lethal right away. They can be used as a loaded fist, or as a Olisi Palad, or a palm, like a palm stick. Okay, so you can hit forward. You can hammer fist or backhand like that before you need to make it lethal. So that's what I love about Balisongs. So these are the more kind of vintage Balisongs here. This one is kind of like a throwaway, and what I mean by that is it's relatively cheap, that I just kind of use every day around the house. Basically a letter opener. Sometimes I flip it. I've left the latch on there, but as you see, the latch folds in, and so it folds all the way down like that, and so this would chip it. Okay, that could chip or nick the edge. But again, I think this cost me like 25 bucks or something like that, at a little knife store, one of those little kiosks at the mall. But this is just something that's a throwaway. And then for training, you can get these trainers, and I like these because, you know, you're not going to cut yourself while you're learning to flip and do different tricks with it. Okay, there's some aerial tricks and things like that you can do, and it'll, you know, while you're learning, you don't necessarily have to put tape on your blades, which is recommended if the only thing you have is a live bladed Balisong. So good trainer is a good one to have if you're serious about Balisong use. But again, check your local laws, because there is a perception about Balisongs, because they're always depicted in the movies of the bad guys, and I freaking hate TV, how it just brainwashes people, and drives policy, right? Again, like I said, these tools can be used in a non-lethal method, especially if you train it that way, right? And then again, you know, you can open it with one hand, and it's basically open boxes or whatever, you know, you call it as a cheese cutter or whatever, right? And so it's really no different than a regular folder. Again, no different than that. Okay, so but again, check your local laws and make sure that owning, possessing, or buying carrying isn't illegal. Okay, so I'm gonna set these aside, and then we're going to talk about the Balisong that you can get from traditional Filipino weapons.com, and from that website. And so as you can see, it's very nice craftsmanship, nice wood handle. It's hefty, it's big, you know, so you have a really long ends to hit with in case you have to go ballistic with it. There's a latch to it. I will not remove the latch. and it lets you know which end to hold on to. So this is the dull end, and this is the sharp end. So the one that has the latch is the latch that has the blade. And again, the way this is designed, it could chip it, right? But it's just a big, and I can't, it's hard for me to flip it because it's so big on camera. But there's some pitting, or it got darkened because I forgot to oil it after I handled it after getting it in the mail. So if you do choose to buy one from TFW, or Traditional Filipino Weapons .com, make sure, and all the blades, just make sure you oil them down, just a thin oil when you're done playing with them and using them. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it is really very sharp, and that it is a deadly weapon. It's a tool. It can be very lethal. This is very, very good quality. It's nice and hefty. I like the feel of it. Again, this is very, very pretty. That's kind of what it looks like. Okay. Let me see here. I want to get the length of it. I think it's 11 inches long. So yeah, without the latch, it's approximately, yeah, it's just approximately 11 inches long, almost 12 inches. Okay, it's just like from my point of view, is like 11 and a half inches long. So this is a pretty big tool here, and very good quality. I like it a lot. I like to use double Balisongs. I might get another one, but again, for the quality that you're getting, you're gonna pay a little bit more. Even on Benchmade's site, their Balisongs, they used to have a variety of them. You know, they're pretty spendy nowadays. So again, that's why I have the throwaway that I showed you. There's some that were crisp bladed. My instructor had one that was a crisp, you know, or a wavy blade, and it was double edged. And he's really good at manipulating the Balisong, and he could do it without cutting himself. And it's very, very beautiful. It was made by Benchmade, but it was very, very beautiful Balisong. And it had wood handles similar to the traditional Filipino martial arts. Traditional Filipino weapons version has here. Okay, so again, the Balisong is a quintessential weapon of the Philippines. If you're into Filipino martial arts, it's the martial artist's fidget spinner. Okay, when you've got nothing else better to do, you just got to be fiddling with something. You know, Balisong is something to pick up and you just start to manipulate it. Helps with finger dexterity. It helps with coordination, and again, overall, to me, I you know, I'm kind of a geek that way, but for me, the Balisong is the lightsaber of the Kalista, or Skurimador. So, anyways, I hope you kind of like this little overview, but yeah, if you can, go ahead and get one of these. I'm gonna put a link below to where you can get a hold of one of these. Very nice quality, very nice knife. I'm glad I got this. So there you go.